Okay, so let's suppose we come across a new situation that we identify as an increase in demand. We should now be able to immediately say what effect we think this is going to have on price and on quantity. Now you've got a couple of different ways that you could remember this. You could go through this sort of exercise, draw out a big supply and demand diagram accurately, shift that demand curve to the right, trace out the new equilibrium and show that resulted in an increase in price, increase in quantity, and that would be just fine. In fact, every time that you do one of these, assuming you've got a normal upward sloping supply curve, downward sloping demand curve, and you shift that demand curve to the right as an increase in demand, you're going to end up with an increase in price and an increase in quantity. And so if you just want to memorize that, that's just fine. For me, I was never great at memorizing things. When I was your age and I was starting to fill in these tables, starting to try to remember how to do these things, I would actually draw a little supply and demand curve every time. So I'd quickly go, there's my axes, price and quantity. It's slower for me doing it here, but when I do it with pencil and paper, I can whip this out in just about 3 or 4 seconds. There's my basic supply and demand curve, and then I'm going to shift my demand curve to the right. There is my new demand curve, and this has traced out an increase in price and an increase in quantity. And so again then I could go back to my table and fill this in. Now I could keep on going. I want to get a decrease in demand now. Well, I could draw out a graph like this again, or I could just realize that if I just turn all these arrows around, then I've gone back from D prime to D to the original D. And so that has resulted in a decrease in quantity and a decrease in price. So a decrease in price, decrease in quantity, and so then I could fill in the next line on my table. A decrease in demand results in a decrease in price, decrease in quantity. What about supply? Well, now things are going to get slightly trickier, because with demand you can recognize that the price and quantity are always going to go in the same direction. With supply, we're not going to get that. So if we move back to exercise 2, there we had an increase in supply, results in a decrease in price, increase in quantity. There we go. Increase in supply results in a decrease in price, increase in quantity. And a decrease in supply is going to do the opposite. Increase in price, decrease in quantity. Maybe we could spend a couple of seconds thinking about why these things work the way they do. An increase in demand means there's more people that want to buy. That means there's more competition for whatever this thing is. The way we handle that competition is the price pushes up. But with more people wanting to buy, we end up with more people buying overall. So both of these increase. Now think about the increase in supply. There's more people producing this thing. There's more competition for us as buyers. And so as buyers, we now get a better deal. The price decreases. But because there's more things being produced overall, the quantity is going to increase. Now, what are you going to do? Are you going to work on drawing these little diagrams so you don't have to do the memorization? Are you going to memorize this table? Or is there maybe some other method that I haven't thought of that you could use to learn this material? Whichever way you use is just fine as long as it works for you.